Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're looking forward to a nice webinar with you all. So today we are going to be talking about no more old school grazing and welcoming you all into the future of bearing lubrication. For those of you that were going to be attending the SMRP conference, this was a presentation we were going to be doing there, but obviously that event had to be canceled with the hurricane. So we're excited to be having an opportunity to share that with you guys today. And for those that weren't going to be at SMRP, well, here you go. You get a great opportunity to check this out. So just a couple things before I turn it over to my colleague, Alex. I did want to just throw this save the date up there. Our Leading Reliability Conference is coming up, but I mean, it seems a little far away, but at the same time, the way time flies, it'll be here before we know it. But we're going to be down in beautiful Clearwater Beach, Florida, May 13 through 15 for the Leading Reliability Conference. Those of you, if you've been with UE Systems for a while now, you might remember we used to do an event called Ultrasound World. Well, that's essentially what this is now, only we've got some additional companies that co-host it with us. So we've got Iridicio, they specialize in training and coaching and consulting for maintenance and reliability. We've got RDI Technologies, they do the motion amplification. We've got Acquam, who does specialize in vibration, alignment, and training for all of those things as well. And we've also got FLIR, who is a partner of ours, as you guys know, with our acoustic imaging cameras, the SI2s. So it's a great group of folks putting on this event. We really strive to have customers coming to present. It's not just us, talking at you for 4 days. So it really is a good use of your training dollars. So if you can make plans to join us, those are the dates. We'll be obviously sending out lots more information as we get closer, but if you need to get that in your training budget now, it's a good time to do it. So just a little shout out about that. And then just a couple other things. We are recording this for you guys today, so if you've got to hop off early, or if you want to share this with somebody else on your team, we will have the recording of this available. We do encourage questions and participation, so there is a questions box. You can type questions into that. I'll be monitoring that while Alex is doing his thing, and we'll pause him if somebody needs some clarification on something during the presentation. Otherwise, of course, we will have some time at the end. And if we don't get to all the questions, or if somebody's question is a little more kind of personalized to your specific situation, we will be definitely getting in touch with you after the fact. So never fear, we will get you squared away. We also have some poll questions that we're going to throw out throughout the session, just to kind of keep everybody engaged. Also helps us just to learn a little bit more about what's important to you guys as we talk about autonomous lubrication and bearing condition monitoring. We're just always trying to learn and make sure we're maintaining our solutions to be exactly what our customers are needing. So we appreciate your participation in those. And then, of course, the ability to do all that interaction means we are doing this live. So just bear with us if we have any technical issues. If my audio goes out, my Wi-Fi goes out, Alex has issues, the dog starts barking, all sorts of things could happen. But I think it's worth that minimal risk of some mishaps for being able to do this live. So with that, I am going to change the presenter here over to Alex, and Alex, we'll let you take it away.
Awesome, thank you so much. I see my screen button now. You see that, Maureen?
I do.
All right, awesome. Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us once again. My name is Alex. I am with our Engineered Solutions team, and we are coming up on a pretty special milestone. We are about a year into the launch of the OnTrack Wireless, and I get the privilege to discuss how this solution has changed the space and how it's provided so much value to our partners. And I really want to share some of the key features that we've been able to learn along the way, and hopefully it's something that If you find that it could be useful at your facility or something that could bring you some return on your investment, then maybe you would want to talk more about it, and we'll be more than happy to share that with you. All right, so automating your peace of mind. And I think that that's a great line to talk about this system, because what the OnTrack Wireless is a complete system, and it incorporates ultrasound, vibration, and surface temperature to be able to better predict, prevent, and time of your assets. So why is it so important for us at UE Systems to be so focused on the lubrication practice and the lubrication cycle of your assets? Well, it's because studies like this, right? We know that 80% of premature bearing failures can be attributed to some type of lubrication issue. And that can vary from under lubrication to over lubrication to contamination in your lubrication to so many different variables that affect that lubrication cycle, that our goal was to perfect it, and we think we hit the mark extremely well. We now have the ability to precisely lubricate our bearings based on 3 different technologies, all working in unison. Now, why did we combine different technologies into this remote monitoring system? Why did we not go forward with ultrasound? After all, UE Systems is known for providing outstanding ultrasound solutions for over 50 years. Well, it's because there's a host of different technologies, and we can recognize the value in each of them, right? But we know that they all work better together. So not only have we put together our best ultrasound detection, we've also added the ability to use vibration because of its ability to find so many different faults inside those assets, as well as surface temperature as well. Now, ultrasound, a lot of you guys will know, because I assume most of you are users or at the very minimum believers in ultrasound. As you would know, it's one of the best detection methods, just because most assets will make a sound as they start to deteriorate or when lubrication is needed, which is one of the most important features when it comes to being able to precisely lubricate every single time. Now, if we can attack that element as soon as we know that lubrication is needed in a certain asset, then we can be better prepared, better lubricated, and extend the life of that asset. Every moment that we delay puts more vulnerability to increase the amount of small impacts and deterioration inside that bearing, which, as you know, over time leads to bearing failure. Just naturally, over the course of time, the friction inside any bearing, no matter where it is, what it's being used for, will increase. As we add the correct lubrication at the right time, we can reduce that friction, properly lubricate that bearing, and here's the key: we can properly lubricate it without over lubrication, and that's how we really optimize our lubrication, automate that entire process for you. Hopefully many of you have seen this tool that's on the screen right now. It's one of our best devices. It's our Ultra Pro 15000. And as you can see, as the user starts adding lubrication inside the asset, you can see that decibel levels start to change. Hopefully what you would want to see on the screen is that decibel levels start to decrease as you add lubrication. And the entire essence of conditional lubrication would be to stop our lubrication practice as we hit our baseline or as we see the decibel levels start to increase rather than decrease. And that's essentially what our OnTrack Wireless does constantly. It never takes a day off. It is on the assets that you want to monitor, when you want to monitor, and then it always tells you when you've hit that certain level of lubrication. Not only can you do this manually, but you now have the ability to do it autonomously as well.
Hey, Alex, I'm just going to chime in because I think we had wanted to throw a poll question out there, just seeing about what condition monitoring folks are using.
That is right. Yep. I
right?
was going too fast. Got too excited.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
I know you love this stuff. It gets you going, but we got to hear from the people.
We do. We do. Could you go ahead and load up that question for me, please, Maureen?
Yes, I can. So let's see here. Let me hit launch. So you're going to see some options pop up. But yeah, we're just kind of curious what existing condition monitoring tools you guys have in use. And I believe you should be able to select all that apply. And obviously, if we don't have what you're using up there, but we're most interested in these three. So it looks like we got a lot of vibration, a lot of ultrasound, a lot of infrared, not very many saying none. So that's good. We're obviously speaking to the right crowd here. We'll give it just one couple more seconds. We got about 70% participation. Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. So there you go. Back to you,
All right.
Alex.
Great. Thank you, Maureen. That's exactly what we want to see, right? Because we are speaking to the to the right crowd here, and you guys understand how important continuous monitoring is and some type of technology. And with this system, and I'll break down the overview right here. Like I said, we're combining all three technologies to have the most complete detection and prevention solution that we could possibly come up with. So first, you'll see our BTUE with single point lubricator. I am sure that many of you have used auto greasers in the past, or maybe you are currently using them, but this is very different than the old school auto greaser, right? This is a smart device. So not only are we able to tell how much lubrication is left, how much battery is left, we also have a back pressure sensor inside that device. It allows us to know if there's ever a kink in the line or the lubrication is not getting to where it's supposed to go. And what that device does is it communicates via Bluetooth 5.0 to the heart and the soul of the entire solution, our 950 BT sensor. So this is by far our greatest ultrasound detecting device, just because it has the highest range. So we are picking up on abnormalities as soon as they happen, just because we can pick up the smallest change in friction and the smallest change in sound. Complementing our great ultrasound, so we are using velocity and acceleration to be able to predict some of those key vibration features, such as misalignment, soft foot, mechanical looseness, and we're doing it with a single axis sensor. And then to tie it all up together is our temperature sensor. So we're able to pick up on the surface temperature of that asset, which then combines with all the other technologies to give us a complete view of the health and what we should do as next steps to maintain it. So those two devices, they communicate via Bluetooth 5.0 and they transfer their information to our gateway. Our gateway is extremely dependable and reliable. It has the ability to accommodate 40 devices. So a device would be a lubricator and a device would be a sensor. So on the screen right now, you're seeing two devices and it has unbelievable range. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Now that gateway sends all the data that it's being sent from the sensor and the lubricator up to our cloud-based platform, UE Insights. And guys, we've worked extremely hard to make UE Insights have as much information as possible while allowing it to be as user-friendly as possible as well too. So a lot of our partners that are currently using the system talk about how easy it is to read, even for people that may not have a huge history in ultrasound or vibration. We've done a good job, I believe, at hitting the mark of giving you alerts when something is wrong and talking about what the remedy should be or what it could be. Now, I think we're going to go to another question real quick, Maureen.
Yep. Okay. So next up, we are curious about your experience using vendor cloud applications. Good, poor, not applicable. Let us know what you think. A lot of not applicable. So we got a lot of folks that are not currently using this kind of service. Those that are, the majority are saying they've had good experience. So that's good to know. We got about most of the votes in here. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, awesome. So it sounds like we have a mixed bag of haven't used one before, and if you have used one, it's been pretty good. So that's good. Hopefully, if you guys do decide that this is the correct system for you or a solution for you, then we can provide a great kind of cloud-hosted system for you. All right, a little bit more on that 950 BT sensor and why it is so innovative and why we really think it is the tool to be able to put you into the future and optimize your lubrication system and remote monitoring system. So like I said previously, a couple times, it is our highest performing ultrasound sensor, just the highest range. Next is that vibration sensor, right? Complementing everything that we find with ultrasound, we'll be looking at our vibration analysis as well. Velocity and acceleration, giving us an RMS value, and then temperature, right? Being able to see what that temperature change is, if any, at the surface level. And then what I want you guys to really pay attention to, and I think that this is one of our biggest feats in innovation and something that we are really proud of, is the audio on demand. So think about our long line of handheld tools, right? We've always given our users the ability to listen to that asset. And at UE Systems, we call that the aha moment, right? Whether you're listening to different applications or in different spaces, you can always kind of hear that change when you're adding lubrication. Now you have the ability to do that remotely. So from anywhere at any time, you can pull the ultrasonic audio value from that sensor, and it'll pull as a WAV file. You can listen to it audibly. You can put it on a different format to dissect it. You can dissect it on our UE Insights as well too. So it's a host of different options, but just giving you the ability to always be on the next level and on the cutting edge of technology. All right, now moving into that single point lubricator, that smart device that allows you to always stay connected. So not only will we be able to tell if there are any faults in your asset, but also if there are any faults in your actual devices as well too, right? No one wants their system to have any failures, but it's great to know that if you have a remote system, you'll be able to detect if there is ever something going wrong. Even something like signal loss, right? You'd want to know that as soon as possible so you can rectify that issue. So like I said, you'll be able to tell what your grease level is. You'll be able to see what your battery level is, and you have that back pressure sensor. We only have one volume currently for our lubricator. That's 240 milliliters, but your grease pouches are disposable and replaceable. So as soon as one is expended, you would load in a new one. We also recommend loading in a new battery pack at the same time. So if you purchase your grease pack from us, you can just load in a new pouch as well as a battery pack that will supply you. And it's not a proprietary battery. You just load that in and then you're good to go. Now, we talked about being able to always know what's going on with your devices. Previously with auto greasers, you'd have to, do some type of visual inspection. You'd have to kind of see, hey, how much grease is left? If there's any grease left in that greaser, are the lines still intact? Are we still actually getting grease to where we think we're supposed to be getting it to? Now you'll be able to see all of that from your dashboard, right? So how much grease is left, what the RSSI value is, which is essentially your signal strength. Are we still reading that device as clear as we can? And then all your indicators, when the last time lubrication was dispensed, how much was dispensed, what was the change in the value, kind of everything associated with that entire practice. All right, now I want to show you guys some examples of some installations that we've done. So I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but another reason why we believe that the OnTrack Wireless is a complete solution is that we provide a turnkey option. So we do the installation, the onboarding, the commissioning, everything involved with getting the system up and running. I wanted to show you guys some examples of the systems that are up and running out into the market today. So here you have very straightforward attachment. So what you're seeing is our sensor and our lubricator both connected to the grease fitting. That is our recommended installation method. And that little stainless steel piece is our GFA, our grease fitting adapter. It allows us to have both those devices connected to each other, as well as giving us access to the best test point for ultrasound readings, right? So that's going to be our most recommended orientation, if at all possible. But if not, don't worry, we have a bunch of different options. So a couple things we can do is we can remotely mount that lubricator. So up to 20 feet away, we can run a grease line that allows us to get that grease to where it's supposed to go. And then for that sensor, we have a bunch of different mounting options. So we already talked about the grease fitting adapter, but in addition, we can also use an adhesive stud mount. We can use a magnetic mount. We can even do a tap and drill. So our techs are some of the best, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure that we get the best connection, so we always get great data that we can feed back to our user. And we'll do some different orientations to make sure that we get the best connection. So we'll extend grease nipples, we'll add on different fixtures for those accessories. The only thing we don't do is that we don't alter any equipment. So we won't drill into anything. We won't move any guarding, and we won't do any electrical work. But around that, other than that, we'll be able to make sure we get a great installation and great connection. All right, we talked about having a remote system that is reliable and dependable. Well, one of the biggest things when it comes to being reliable is how good is that signal strength, right? So we talked about that gateway being able to accommodate 40 devices. We also have the ability to get a strong signal from those devices up to 1,000 feet away. Right? So we have cases in the field where we're even further than that, right? If we're in an open, unobstructed atmosphere or environment, that gateway is extremely strong and dependable. Now, when we get into facilities that have walls and other pieces of equipment, we're closer to about 300 to 400 feet of connection, but still extremely reliable and really dependable. And that's really what the biggest faction is when it comes to a remote system. Now, when it comes to connecting that information, getting it out to you on UE Insights, then you can use one of three options: Ethernet, Wi-Fi, or cellular. A lot of our partners use the cellular option just because it kind of speeds past any IT issues, right? So it's not a security vulnerability. But I say that, but we will meet 99.9% of all IT standards, and we're more than happy to have our IT team meet with yours, any risk, and how we can get it onto your network. To power that gateway, we just need 110, so your simple wall outlet would do, not a problem. But like I said, this is an extremely strong and dependable system. And then once you've reached that threshold of the 40 devices, you just add an additional gateway to your system. So it's a pretty easy install and really, really straightforward when it comes to the connection. I think we're ready for another question.
Okay, let's see, what do we got here next? So now we're curious if your facility has a historian or platform you would like this data to integrate into. And looks like that's a 70-30 split. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay, perfect. And that is one of the other key features of this system. We have the ability to feed all that data into your system so that you can kind of all read the same language, and you can, write into different actions and PMs. But our goal is to make this as easy as possible. The great thing about our system is that it's really customizable. So we can build this UE Insights to your specifications, but we can also feed that information into your historian, make it as simple and as detailed for you as possible. Now, when it comes to UE Insights, like I said earlier, we've worked really hard to provide as much information as possible, but be able to give you a very user-friendly system that you'll be able to see all the key indicators that you want to see, And then when there's a change or something that has to be done, you have a dedicated customer success team that's going to be on the ready and ready to help out with whatever you need. And the right data to the right people at the right time, and that all goes into getting that information to you. So I think we're ready for another question real quick.
Okay, and then let's see, we are diving into which element of the on-track, as you've seen so far, is most valuable for you. And I think you just get to pick one on this one. Okay. So far, Alex, it looks like about 70% are loving the continuous on-demand health data, 30% on autonomous lubrication, very few on the dedicated team. But that's interesting. Obviously, knowing how your bearings, the health of your bearings is clearly a pretty critical piece of the puzzle. So there you go.
All right, that's good information. Thank you. And then additionally, right, so, in this space, vibration is extremely valuable just because it has the ability to find and detect so many different faults. But ultrasound is extremely unique in that we can find faults earlier on, right? And then the ability to lubricate conditionally with ultrasound is unmatched versus any other technology. And that's why it's so important to combine both elements into one system to make it as complete as possible. Talk about making it one system that speaks to each other so that it all works into the data and dashboard and display that you want to see. It's so well integrated, and whatever view or control that you'd like, we can build that for you. So if you want a system to where UE system currently or takes over your entire lubrication practice, and we are monitoring all those points for you, and you don't really want to have to deal with it, that's an option. That's part of the turnkey option. If you want to be have us walk alongside you and help you understand what you're seeing and how to put together reports and how to read different alerts, that's an option. If you want to be as involved or as little involved as you'd like, we can make that work for you. That's our entire goal, and it's how automate your lubrication practice and really provide a complete system. And then like we spoke about earlier, the ability to put it into your system, the ability to integrate and have all that data built in a way that you want to see it, that's really something that we can do for you, write it into that API. And then for our users that might have some requests that's some more stringent security requests, we can also have an on-premise option. So if the cloud is something that's a bit scary or something that would be difficult to get past your IT team, then we can do an on-premise option to where all your data stays local. So there's no kind of vulnerabilities. We can keep it all in-house. That's an option as well too. So we're more than happy to help you figure out a way to get the system up and running so that it satisfies all the needs that you guys have. I think we have one last question. That's the end of my presentation, but I really appreciate you guys coming in today.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got. Whoops, my poll thing just got messed up. Okay. Yeah. So, well, we just kind of mostly just want to know. So we're reaching out to the right people and not bothering you if you're not ready for this yet. But, if this is something that you'd like to have an additional conversation with someone like Alex to learn more and talk more specifically about your applications, what assets you would be looking to put something like this on. So if you don't mind just letting us know, and we'll be sure to reach out to those that are interested, and those that aren't, it's always worth noting that while this is quite, more of an enterprise solution at UE Systems, we definitely have other options for monitoring the health of your bearings, working, assisting with your lubrication processes. This isn't the only option, obviously. So we're happy to talk with you more for those that this isn't what you're quite ready for, how we can still help you along. So thank you for answering that. So Alex, we do have some questions that we'd love to get your take on. A couple people, not surprisingly, because this is a question that comes up quite a bit, were curious about like the rating of the sensors, the temperature, the temperature regulate issues on the high and low end, and any potential for explosion proof. So if you don't mind touching on that piece of this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, great question. So number one, this is a system that's meant to be indoor and outdoor. It's very rugged. It has an IP rating of 67, so water and dust resistant. The system does really, really well with water. Actually, we work with a lot of food and beverage companies to where it has to withstand washdowns every night, and it does really well. It just can't be completely submerged, right? So that's one thing that we can't do currently. But dust, even the lubricator, it's completely sealed, and we have a little dust jacket that we provide for it as well to kind of enforce some of that. But it's a really strong system. Currently, it is for general use areas only, no explosion proof. We do have plans to make it explosion proof or be able to have it IS rated eventually, but we just don't have a timeline on that currently. But just for general use areas only right now.
Okay, great, thank you.
Oh, and then I think in temperature setting. So for temperature, for the sensor, for surface temperature, it's 140 degrees Fahrenheit on the hot side. And on the cold side, it's -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, on the hot side, we can extend that a little bit with isolation yolks. We can get it up a little bit past that, but we just have to have a conversation on what the application is just to make sure it's the right solution for you.
Okay, great. Another question that we got, and I think we even have it on our website, so no sense in kind of hiding anything, but knowing that there's tons of different variables in terms of the type of grease used and cable length, or not cables, because this is not the wired version like I'm used to talking about, the wireless. But what are we kind of looking at from a cost per point, so people have just a general idea of where this thing lies?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a project minimum, and the way to talk about prices, to start any project, we're usually at 30 bearings. So if you were to monitor 30 bearings, you're looking at, and we're very, very transparent with our pricing. If you wanted to monitor only 30 bearings to get you up and running, installed, everything included, you're looking at about 27,000. And then to monitor that continuously, your recurring cost every year would be about 8,100. So pretty competitively priced. Now, if you wanted to monitor and lubricate 30 points, you're looking at about 37,000 up front and about 8,400 per year to continue your monitoring service. So we say it's roughly about $1,000 per point. So if you wanted to just monitor, it's about 700 per point.
Okay.
And we classify a point as a bearing.
Yeah. And then just another one, so feel free, folks, because we've got time, if there's other questions that you're thinking of. I did want to touch on, because a few people are asking if we recorded this, if the presentation would be available. So yes, we we did record this and we will have it up on our YouTube channel. We will happily share the link of the recording to anybody that wants to have that. So you'll have access to that. In terms of the actual PowerPoint itself, it's not generally something we would share, but we do have a pretty all-inclusive brochure that covers nearly everything that Alex, reviewed today. So we can certainly share that with those that are interested as well. So just letting you guys know about that. And it looks like, I guess that's it. I think we covered it, Alex. So thank you. I'm just going to take the screen back from you here. And obviously, certainly as you guys sit with this for a little bit and think of additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And certainly this is multiple ways that you can do it. You can, find us on LinkedIn, get on our website, obviously call our office, fill out the form on our website, reach out to any of us on the team, and we'll be happy to answer any questions and get you guys some more information about either obviously this OnTrack or anything else that we've got in the ultrasound realm. We are here to support and help. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to learn a little bit more about this. We appreciate it. Alex, thanks for the great presentation. And with that, we will let you all go and we'll catch you guys later.
Thank you guys.